Live. Can everybody hear me? I just want to make sure that we're live first before anything. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? We should be live, but right now I'm not seeing anything. So I'm just doing a live test before I think it is live. Okay, we are live. Amazing. So we are getting into some stuff today. What's going on, chat? We're about to go live right now. Actually, we are live, but we're about to start the show right now. So make sure you're telling your peoples right now while the intro is playing, tell your peoples to tune in because we're getting into it today. Do it right now. Here we go. Oh, it says they can't hear me.
About a thing, baby, count on me. I'm on point like you're physical, so count on me. I got it all under control, baby, count on me. Don't you worry about a thing, lady, count on me. You ain't gotta worry about a thing, baby, count on me. I'm on point like you're physical, so count on me. I got it all under control, baby, count on me. Don't you worry about a thing, lady, count on me. Baby, I don't do this for the following. They follow me, but I ain't tripping, they more dollar trees. I like my time spent modestly with quality.
What is going on, y'all? Can we fix the screen there? What is going on, y'all? Amazing. Welcome to the Joel Friday TV podcast. I am Joel Friday. Bienvenido. Welcome to the show. Happy 4th of July. Amazing stuff, right? It is amazing. It's another Tuesday, which happens to fall on 4th of July. A lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to cover. So we're going to get right into it. Topics. Last week, if you missed it, we talked about my interaction with the demon. It was pretty crazy. It was some interesting stuff, some spiritual things. But we talked about that last week, so if you missed that, go check it out. But also we talked about where men go wrong in relationships. And we got into that heavy. So if you missed that, go check that out. You can still rewatch it. Episode 20, last week's episode, we talked about those things, and it was deep. It was so good. So make sure you go check that out when you get some time. But right now, stay here because today's topic, we're getting into some stuff. So today, we're going to talk about a few things. It's 4th of July. We're going to have fun, but at the same time, we're still going to be deep, right? Because that's what life is about, right? Some depth. But we're going to still have fun at the same time. But today's topic, we're going to talk about the true spirit of the United States of America. The bigger picture, the grand scheme of things. We're going to get into that, okay? We're also going to talk about the order of life, the order of God, the order of marriage. We're also going to talk about the meaning of freedom. We're going to keep it all things 4th of July, Independence Day type vibes. You know what I mean? We're going to really get into that, keep it good, and oh, man, I just got a text right now. Sorry, I was distracted. But we're going to get into it, okay? But before we do that, you know what you have to do first. You guys know this. Can we close this door? You guys know what we have to do. And you got to hit that like button. Smack it. Hit the like, share, subscribe, and I got to start that over because I was distracted. Sorry, guys. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down on like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we can get the message out, get the subscribers up, and the message out. Sorry, guys, the door threw me off. The text threw me off, but we're still here. Make sure you guys subscribe. Tell your peoples, right? We got to get the message out. Also, you can call in. This is a talk show, so you can definitely call in at 888-775-3773, and we can chat about anything, the show topics, last week topics. You can ask me questions. We can have comments. We can debate. We can argue. We can fellowship. I'm for all of it. All in the name of Jesus. I'm with it. So you can call in 888-775-3773. And now if you cannot call in, right? If you cannot call in or you don't want to call in or you're busy, you're not by a phone, the lines are full, you can also send a super chat with your question or comment. Or if you just want to support the show, you can send a super chat and I will read your messages live on air. Okay? So there's all possible ways we can get the message out and your comments read or your questions answered. You know what I'm saying? So you can super chat. How you super chat is you find the little super chat button in the little chat area, in the little chat box on the right side, at the bottom left-hand side, or it may be on the right, depending on what device you're using, but it's somewhere in there. So you can super chat and just support the show if you want to. You know what I mean? So you have that option as well. Amazing stuff. Remember, you can... Oh, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. That's true. Okay, thank you, James. I remember. I had trauma. But anyway, you can yell on air, too, if you want. It's more fun. But yeah, I know what you mean. So amazing. I will get to the already some super chats, which is very appreciative, but also I want to make sure I answer these questions. I'm going to get to those super chats in a second here. I just kind of want to start the show, get the show going, right? Amazing stuff. So as you guys see, I'm repping my Upland American Little League jersey, which is very, I think it might look orange online. Let me see. It looks a little orangish. And also, dang, the colors on my background is looking a little teal. It's looking a little different, but it's supposed to be red, right? So I wore this for a couple reasons. The first reason is because it's like one of 3 pieces of clothing in my closet that is red or blue or white. I don't have very America-inspired clothing. So that was one. But also, as I was thinking about it too, it kind of like worked out because when I grew up playing baseball and football, literally since I was 4 and 7, all the way up until high school. So 14 years of my life, I played sports back-to-back every year, practically. And, you know, the time that I felt the most appreciation for America unconsciously, not even consciously, are the days when I was playing baseball. And it was interesting because I was thinking about it. I was like, well, why? Because back then, for me, when I was younger, we would go to the park. We would be in our uniform. We would do the national anthem. Our family would be there watching and supporting. Our friends would be with us. The game had like a certain type of order to it, which made it fun. And we were just really having fun. It was like the most joy I have. And I think that's why I miss playing baseball so much, even as an adult, is because more so of missing the joy that came from those experiences. And everybody on my team was all races, white, black, Asian, and we all have fun with each other. And we're all best friends. And that's the time I had the most fun. No stress, no worry, just real pure joy and fulfillment. And that's what reminds me, that's what I feel like America is designed to, those are the fruits of America. You know what I mean? Part of them, right? And we're going to get into the whole thing. But I think that we, over time, have lost the true meaning of what America really stands for and what it's supposed to be versus how man today, men in general and men and women, human race, has exploited and transformed and abused the true essence and the meaning of what America stands for, what freedom means. And I kind of just wanted to put things in the perspective that I believe, the best that I know how, of what I've realized over the years about what America means and all that good stuff. And maybe take the bad taste out of your mouth for those who feel a certain way about where the world has gone, the values the country holds today, and all that stuff. And a lot of people have been losing hope. A lot of people lose hope. You know what I mean? But I just think that they're misinformed. And I kind of want to bring a little bit of what, from my understanding of things that I've learned, that makes this country so special and why everybody wants to come here regardless of what's going on. Okay? So I want to get into that. Thank you guys for the super chats. I see them. I'm going to come to them in a second. But Independence Day, first off, obviously 4th of July is, and I didn't really know this too much because I don't really care, because it's not that important, but it's good to know, is that the 4th of July was celebrating the America's independence from Great Britain, right? And that's not very important, but the point of that is that that's why we celebrate 4th of July, is when it became its own like country. And then James or whoever else, if I'm wrong in any part of this explanation, you guys can help a brother out. But the whole point of 4th of July is to celebrate the independence, right? And a lot of people don't understand how great America truly is and how blessed we are, because America is, and I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful that I was born here, and I celebrate 4th of July. Even if most years I'm not even doing nothing. Most years I miss the fireworks. But in my spirit, I celebrate it, and I root for the 4th of July and anything that has to do with America, because regardless of what's going on, I'm extremely grateful to be an American. And I'm going to tell you why. Because America is truly founded on godly principles. And not only that, there is an anointing that I've realized that all Americans have, or people who've come here properly and have adopted the values. There's a certain type of essence and anointings that Americans have that makes them blessed, that makes them taken care of, in a sense, that makes them have a little extra in their spirit, right? It's because this is the Holy Land. This is why everybody wants to come here. And right now we're just looking at the bigger picture, right? There's the details that get messy, right? But the bigger picture, this is the Holy Land. This is why everybody wants to come here. Now, also, there's a lot of history that people say, like how this land was stolen from the, what were they? The Native Americans, and that they were killed and murdered in order to get this land and stolen. Right? There's so many different stories of history to it. But this wouldn't be a holy land if it was taken in that way, in my belief. You can disagree. This wouldn't be a holy, special place if it was stolen in that way. I don't believe that. I think that back then there were different ways people went about things. Like when you wanted land, you fought over land. We do that still to this day. For territory, you agreed to fight for territory, no matter what it was. But there was also an agreement. It was just a thing that you did. So I think people look back on it now and then they're like, well, they was stolen because the people back then who founded it just murdered these people. Da, da, da. No, these were things that people knew. If you wanted territory, you came to an agreement that, okay, well, we'll fight for territory. You win, you get it. Isn't that what happened today? And then you make peace treaties, though, also. There's different things that happen, right? So I think that the history is distorted, but that's okay. You have the right to believe whatever you want to believe about it, right? But it doesn't change the fact that the United States of America is the Holy Land, and I'm going to get more into it. Also, slavery and all that stuff that happened in America, obviously there were things that was horrendous things that were happening, right? There's also a distorted and dramatized story of slavery out there too. But there's things that happened that shouldn't have, right? And that were atrocities, right? Sure. But slaves who were free were blessed to be freed here. Blessed to be freed here. I don't know exactly how it worked, when they came over here, how they got over here, whatever, right? I don't know all the details, right? But when the ones that came here and made it here, they were extremely blessed. And that was part of the plan. That was part of the plan in the bigger grand scheme of things, right? So if you talk to any slaves, at the end of the day, they're grateful that they're in America. And they're not still angry at those who brought them here or treated them wrongly or whatever the case is. People who are actually in it have way less anger about it than those who haven't been in it. Because stories and teachings over time have been exaggerated, altered, the imagination goes wild. And then you really start, and then your anger attaches to it, and now you're like almost making stuff up to some extent, right? So all in all, America is an amazing place. But also freedom. I wanted to talk about this, right? Freedom. And we got a lot of stuff we're going to get into, so I'm going to get through it, and also I'm going to get to these super chats. But freedom as well. Freedom is like what like America is mostly, you know, like the motto, right? The land of the free. But what is freedom? Because the world in general, I think we all have most people have a distorted understanding of freedom, right? And freedom to me is freedom to be wrong. Freedom to go the wrong way, quote unquote wrong, right? Freedom to do whatever you want, right? And not be judged. Freedom to learn and freedom to live exactly how you want to live. That's why everybody wants to come here. Because in other countries, you can't. You cannot. But in America, that's why we get away with so many things, because it's the land of the free. That's why people want to come here, because they know that they're going to have that space to be free, right? And you can get away with a lot of things. But that's how it should be. I don't think that that's wrong. I don't think that's a bad virtue. I think that you should have the right to do what you want. Reason why is because people should choose to do right. Not by a rule, not by a law, not by A, B, and C, but because they choose to. And choosing right only comes from freedom. Freedom has to come first, because you got to find your way, especially those who didn't have the best upbringing or didn't have both their parents in the home, or one parent was this, one parent was that. You become lost. You get lost. But freedom is what allows you, when you're ready, on your own terms, to come back home, right? And that's what freedom is. And I think sometimes we distort that freedom by not truly letting people be free. But then people will also say this. Well, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, religion, and all these things seem like a bunch of rules. And what my message is today, what I'm going to talk about, is that these virtues, these things, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and religion, right? God's order and God's order, right? All these things were created to actually set you free by bringing you into order and union, right? But order and union, what these rules and what these these things that we have, the purpose of them is just to give you the guidelines and create the structure. But where we go wrong is we try to adopt it for the sake of it being the right way, opposed to really within, developing these things. Because once we develop, we truly understand what it means to follow these rules, and those rules are what guide us within, then we're set free. Those rules set us free. But on the alternative, when we see those rules and we're like, oh yeah, that's how we should follow, and then you just adopt it and you're pretending that you got it together, that's when all hell breaks loose. That's when everybody, that's when we have conflict in the world, chaos. Because we're enforcing things that are not within, but for the sake of enforcing things. That's not freedom. It's like slavery, right? Pointing the finger, you better do this. This is what you should do. God says you got to live this way, right? And those things are supposed to be found naturally. You find those things, and when you find them, you just fall into the order. So I wanted to give 4 examples. 4 examples of where man, the human race, men and women, where man has distorted and exploited the natural order. I'm gonna give 4 examples. 4 different ones, okay? Let me know if I'm making sense, y'all. Chat, am I making sense? Am I going somewhere, or I need to relax? You guys tell me. But 4 examples. The first one is religion has been totally hijacked. And religion, the hijacked version of religion, still takes away freedom. It takes away freedom. The Bible, out of context, takes away freedom. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to try to get through these quick, but I'm going to tell you why. It's because religion brings a comfort, right? Like when you hear it and you need that message, you feel good. Like, for example, you're worthy. When you're feeling so horrible about yourself, and then you go to church and the church tells you, you're worthy, you're worth it, you're special. You know, all those words, right? It gives you this comfort, right? But then it sets an expectation. Religion sets an expectation. Because now when you see yourself as worthy and worth it and special and strong, when you make a mistake, now you're questioning yourself. Am I strong? Am I worthy? I was so strong, but I did. It sets a false expectation instead of just being a human being, right? Religion, the hijack religion today sets up all these rules that unintentionally makes you feel guilty when you don't follow them. Now you feel like a sinner. Now you feel like a bad person. Now you feel like you're not what you are supposed to be. You fell backwards. But those opinions are only coming from an expectation of what you believed you're supposed to be. So when you don't hit the mark, then now there's judgment that doesn't exist, but there shouldn't even be a mark. And religion creates that expectation oftentimes, right? So be careful with religion. And it's not about religion. It's supposed to be about relationship with God. It's not supposed to be about religion. Now, there is an order to life that when we naturally follow that order, then life is great, right? There is a way life should be lived, but in such a way that we find it on our own, but also on our pathway to find it. It's not living wrong. If that makes sense. So that's the first one. Religion steals freedom. Number 2, relationships. Why relationship? I'm talking about like boyfriend and girlfriend. Why relationship titles are improper. And it's so funny because we love to call somebody mine, or like, that's my girl, that's my boy, or like, that's my girlfriend, that's my boyfriend, these titles. That's my whatever. There are all kinds of titles. We love to say that thing, right? Because it's a possessive thing. But you know what happens when we possessed? When we say my girlfriend, my boyfriend, is we think ownership, right? We want to own it. But when we own it, that spills over into you can't do this. You can't do that. You can't talk to him. You can't look at that girl. You can't cheat on me. It turns into that because it's like, you're mine. That's not right. That's not freedom. That's control, right? But the reason why titles aren't supposed to be there except marriage. Marriage is the only title you should have. The reason why titles are supposed to be there is because, and I had to learn this the hard way too, is that you're supposed to allow somebody to choose you. Allow them to choose you, not make them choose you. Allow them to choose you. Let them be free, right? Before you're married, you're supposed to talk to other people. And I don't mean by just going out there on purpose and being like, I'm gonna just talk to a bunch of people. But no, like, you're supposed to have your options open. Because you're trying to figure out, like, what do I like? Who do I like? Do I like him? What is this? But if you're tied down in this false marriage of boyfriend and girlfriend and titles and all this stuff, it's like a false marriage, and you're not even married to the person, but you got to act like you are. And then that's why people end up cheating, because they're like, I kind of want to see what that's like over there. I kind of want to see what that's like. Be free. So when they go experience the other things, then they'll realize, no, it's you that I want. Allowing people to choose you. You know what I mean? It's so much better than trying to control them, that they gotta be only with you. It's just a mess, if that makes sense. It's just a mess. And I'm still learning that myself. Letting people be free. Because if you think you're about your relationship with your siblings, if you have siblings, or your best friend, you don't think about what they even doing. You don't even care about what they're doing. You ain't worried about nothing about them. But you care about them in the right ways, right? Like, you still have love for them. You still show them love. You still appreciate that connection. But you're not trying to control your brother, or some people do. But you're not. You don't have any agenda to control your best friend. And that's why you guys are best friends. because it just stays at the connection. It doesn't come into control. It doesn't come, I'm better than you, you're better than me, I lead you, you lead me. It's just you appreciate the connection, and that's why you guys are best friends. But it's freedom. He or she could have other best friends, and you don't care. That's the point. So that's number 2. Number 3 is why we follow traditions in marriage. And tradition in marriage bring conflict and friction. This all has to do with rules. This all has to do with like following these rules and guidelines that have been set up with that America has been founded on. And they're not wrong, but we exploited them. That's my point, right? So bear with me. It's all going to make sense. But traditions in marriage. I'm going to tell you right now why women reject the term housewife today. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you exactly why women today reject the term housewife. They don't even, their stomach hurts when they hear the word housewife. And they reject it because how we approach it today is insane. Because we go based off of a tradition. Man back then went out and worked. A woman back then was the man's helper, and she helped him prepare the food so when he came home, there was a hot meal that was ready. The kids were being raised by the father and the mother, but the mother was there to bear the children, raise the children. But they also skip over the fact that women were also helping the man in his work. Right? She's the helper. But tradition today has people just following what they believe is right. Get into the kitchen, woman. Make me that meal. But why? Why do I have to do that? Because that's what you're supposed to do as a woman. That's wrong. That's wrong. That don't make nobody feel good. Oh, that's what you're supposed to do as a woman. That's an incorrect teaching. It's a tradition. We follow these traditions, and that's what brings the problems. If we just allowed the woman and the male to do as they please, 9 times out of 10, they'll end up doing those things just because they appreciate what your appreciation for them. So, for example, and then I'm gonna move on. But for example, is that instead of having this agreement, I'm gonna go to work, you're gonna stay home and raise the kids. Instead of having this agreement, why not just focus on if you have a decent woman and you have a decent man and you guys both want what's right and you guys both mean well and you guys both are seeking out what is true. And then leave it at that. No roles. No roles. Oh, she got to do this because she's a woman. He got to do this because he's a man. No roles. But just loving each other from that understanding that, this person is genuine, I'm genuine, boom. If you let that be, we find our way to the natural order of things, right? And we do it with pure joy. And there's no resentment about doing it. There's no force. There's no, I have to do it because, or else the rest of my family will look at me as not a good wife. I better learn how to cook. Like, these things should all be happening because you want them, right? If a woman doesn't want to be a housewife, then whatever. And if you are in a position where your lifestyle as a man needs that helper to do those things in a household, then you'll be patient and knowing that that will be added on to you, right? But trying to get a woman and try to change her into that is not going to work. She going to leave you, she going to cheat on you, or she going to resent you. Because she don't want to do that. So why are you trying to make her do it? You know what I mean? Like, things are supposed to be done out of freedom, and when freedom comes, people choose to do the right things because they see why they're doing them. You're not supposed to force anybody to do anything. So, yeah, I understand. I can see why women reject the idea of staying at home, raising children. I totally see it. I understand. Because they don't feel like they just feel like they're just a piece of, just do this and I'll do. They don't feel like they're worth nothing. So they go out and get a job and they go out and do all these things because sometimes they just want to prove to you that, I ain't this little, and I understand that. So that's the third one. The fourth one is, and then I'm going to get to some super chats, why the Constitution is from God, but so hard to follow. Like, the Constitution of like, and the Bill of Rights of like, or the amendments of like, the freedom of speech, and then the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms, all these things, right? All these rules, totally from God, right? And by nature, people reject order. People just reject order by nature. So nobody wants to be told what to do. Nobody wants to be told how to live their life, as they shouldn't be, right? But these things are from God. These things are from God. And I'm not going to sit up here and just say, you should be free and do whatever you want. You should do whatever you want. But also, these structures and rules are put here for a purpose to understand what they mean, right? A certain order of life. But people reject that order when it's done in force. And in America today, everything is force. Everything is forceful. Right? Everything is done in force. Sometimes people need that rod of correction, though, to get in line. Right? Some people do need that rod of correction. You're not just to let freedom just be whatever. There's a confines of being free that you must follow so you're not an inconvenience to the world or other people, right? But there's a purpose to the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Code of Ethics, which is like what like the mantra that police officers follow, religious texts, and marital vows, right? Like to sickness through health, to death do you part. These are vows that you make that you're saying you're gonna do this, right? And there's a reason why those are there. It's because once you truly find why you're supposed to be forever, you want to be forever. So that's a rule that that is created for you to be free, for freedom, if that makes sense. So there is an order to life, and the purpose of it is to give you an example and set these guidelines that build that structure so you can live a great life. But the order of God is only found, this is my last thing, and then I'm gonna get to some super chats and maybe some calls and and all that good stuff. My last thing is that the order of God is found, not enforced. The order of God is found and not enforced. Okay? It is found, not enforced. And God wants you to find him. He don't want you to feel pressure to find him. He don't want you to feel pressure to act right. He wants you to do it because you appreciate, you value who God is, and you understand it. That's why let people be free. Let them do as they wish. Now, if they impose on you, you say, hey, that's not right, and you deal with it properly, right? If they're imposing on your life. Like a lot of different examples we see, or people impose on other people's lives, then you stand up and put your foot down and be like, nah. Then you stand up and correct. But if people aren't bothering you, it's not your business. Let them be free. Let them go do whatever what they want. They want to have a relationship with a lizard. Let them go have a relationship with a lizard. Ain't got nothing to do with me. But if they bring that lizard in and say, can we move into your house? No. Back up. We don't like that here. Bye. Then you deal with it. But let people be. Because we're the land of the free. You have a right to not believe in same-sex marriage, and you have the right to believe in same-sex marriage. That's why America is America. Freedom of speech. Live how you want. Just don't impose it on anybody else. So anyway, let me get to some super chat real quick.
Super chat.
Super chats.
Amazing stuff, I think. Let me see. Super chat. I know y'all be neglecting the phone. Call in. You can call in at, 888-775-3773. You can call in right now. Call in. 888-775-3773. I will not reject. I meant to say reject and neglect. The phones. I will answer. And I know some of you guys stopped calling me because I don't get to the phones, but I'm going to get to the phones. You can call in and we can talk. Super chat. So DJ on Paw says, your crackhead and shoulder talks were great. Your crackhead and shoulder talks? You know what that means, Hassan?
One more time.
He said your crackhead and shoulder talks were great.
He said me?
No, he's saying me, but what is a crackhead and shoulder talk?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought maybe you might know. I don't know what that means, but thanks.
It's beyond me.
Thanks, DJ on Paw. I appreciate it. Moon Cricket Stinks says, Joel, he black. Happy White History Month and 4th of July. What is your favorite part about White History Month? I like the fact that, for one, White History Month is a holiday that Jesse Lee Peterson has coined, and he's trying to make it into a thing. And I respect it and I understand it because people will say, well, white people get all the other months. But they really kind of don't in today's world. White people are definitely looked upon as bad people. And of course there's bad white people, there's bad black people, bad all people, right? But there's also good white people. And white people should be celebrated just the same. So I appreciate the ones who are really trying to do right, the ones who are really trying to make a difference, and the ones who are really trying to mind their business, but the ones who also stand up and say, I'm not a part of the history that bothers you so much. That wasn't me. and I value bold white people who say like, because black people can make jokes on white people all day, and white people just gotta take it. But white people make jokes about black people. Lord have mercy, you might die, you might get shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, there's very valuable and legendary, iconic white people who've made a difference in the world that should be celebrated and acknowledged. And white people as a whole have done a lot of great things. So that's probably what my favorite part of White History Month is, just acknowledging that they deserve to be acknowledged. We got Black History Month, we got Native American, we got Pride Month. So yeah, I like that. So thanks, Moon Cricket Stinks. Spoiler alert says, I don't even know, Geese? Hey Geese? Oh, maybe that's to somebody in the chat. I don't know. But thanks for the support, spoiler alert. Amazing. Let me go to Jesse, a first-time caller out of Los Angeles. Let's talk to Jesse. Let's see. Hey, Jesse. Welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Thank you.
Oh, is this Jesse Lee Peterson?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing. Happy White History Month.
Happy White History Month.
Joel,
Yeah.
I was listening to your little show.
Yeah. Really quick though, wait, before you tell me that. Jesse Lee Peterson is the owner of the network, and he has his own show and church service. He runs a nonprofit organization. For those that don't know, right? Called Bond, and he's a part of he has a network of different hosts who have a podcast, and I'm one of them. And that's who's on the line here, the owner of the network, Jesse Lee Peterson. Go ahead, Jesse.
So I was listening to your little show.
Yeah.
And I don't quite understand what you mean when you say that, and I may be quoting it wrong because I forgot exactly how you said it, but that the woman should not be the housewife.
That the woman should not be?
I mean, that the woman should be forced to be the housewife.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like a woman would find that the true definition and understanding of what a housewife is supposed to be and mean would be a lot more appreciated and valued if she had an example of like a woman who's lived that life properly and how she's seen the results of it. But I feel like a woman nowadays should not be forced to be like that, because I feel like that only leads them to resent you if it's not truly in them to understand what that really means.
And why is it not truly in them to understand?
Because, for one, stemming from the resentment they already have for their fathers not being the example or truly like appreciating and valuing their mother. And
doing what to the mother?
You're coming in a little quiet, Jesse, so you got to speak up a little bit.
Value their mother?
Say it again?
You said that it came from not valuing their mother?
No, that the husband was not, that didn't value their mother enough, yes, to let her understand that she is a big part of the success of the family, why things going as good as they are, and her role in it. She doesn't understand her value. And I think men shouldn't force that and say, you just got to go in the kitchen. But more so allow them to help them realize, if they don't already know, that they have a place in the marriage, in the family.
It was never the role of the father. It was the girls learn from their mother how to cook and clean and be happy being a housewife.
Right.
But these girls are not seeing that in their mothers because the mothers are no good, and then they go to these schools, and schools tell them they don't have to be like that they're equal to men.
Yes. Yes, I agree with that. And Jesse's making a good point is that the mothers aren't examples of what it truly means to be a woman, but also a woman, a housewife, yeah. And a woman with confidence, knowing that what she's doing is very valuable. It's needed in the household. But men today also don't have good examples by their fathers. So they're not explaining to women that I need you in the house to do A, B, and C. They're just saying you got to be in there because that's what you're supposed to do.
But it's not valuable when she does it.
Right. Well, I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, that they shouldn't be treated as special.
Right. It's natural for a woman to do it.
It's natural for a woman to do it, but there is value that comes from that, meaning that that's important. And
it's not important. It's natural.
Right. But we're saying the same things, but just in a different way. Like, because most women today also don't understand that, or they don't believe that what they are is enough. Meaning, like, you know what I mean?
No.
At the end of the day, the point is that it's really not a special thing. Nobody's special. The man's not special,
right,
and the woman's not special.
At the end of what day?
At the end of the day.
What day?
Today. So whatever.
A man is not supposed to stroke a woman's ego just because she cooks and cleans and watches over his children. And a woman should not be stroking a man's ego because he go to work and provide. That's natural. That's the order of God.
Yeah, but it is nice to say it though, and hear it though sometimes to be.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is though. It is
Why?
though. Because
it's natural. Why you need to hear it?
It is because you should show appreciation, because at the end of the day, you know that
at the end of what day?
The spirit knows that deep down this is what it should be.
Right.
That I don't need a compliment, I don't need this, I don't need that, right? But ultimately, as we're growing to that, it's still appreciated and it's still nice for people to hear sometimes, because it gives them a little encouragement, because they're not perfect in understanding that or believing that. So I wouldn't shy away from trying to avoid it because it's right not to have to say it.
Yeah, because if you go home one day and you say, "Oh, I appreciate you watching over my children and cleaning and cooking," and then she all happy about that, right?
Yeah.
But then you go home the next day, you ain't saying that. Now she mad.
Well, that's the whole thing, is that if she's a real woman,
she's doing her natural thing, she doesn't need you to appreciate it, period.
But that's only the women who are taking it in an ego way. The woman who appreciates the compliment when it's said in the right way, hears it, and it feeds her spirit, and it encourages her to, I'm on the right track, or I'm doing the right thing, or whatever the case is. It feeds her spirit. Now, there are some women who are going to take it and be like, oh, well, I'm so great, and take it in the wrong way. But I don't think compliments and encouragement is always feeding the ego. Thank you.
If you need it, it feeds the ego.
You said what?
If you need it.
If you need it, it does feed the ego. But it's also still nice to hear.
But you don't want to feed the ego. You want the ego to die.
Right. But hearing it also it feeds the spirit.
Let's say if you went home and you say, you're a lazy woman. And you cooked all day and cleaned and washed diapers and everything.
Yeah.
And if she get mad about it, she should be glad that he said that to her so she could overcome that.
But why are you going home and telling her you're a lazy woman? What the?
Which is better, to go home and say you're a lazy woman, or go home and say you're a smart woman?
Well, you're not gonna lie. You don't lie, but
Which
you
is
still,
better,
but you still also don't be like, you a lazy woman.
Which is better?
What?
To say you're a lazy woman or a smart woman?
To say the right thing at the right moment. That's what's best. Thank you.
And so last thing, Jay, I'll let you go.
Okay.
At the end of what day?
When I find out, I'll let you know.
All right, man. I like your little show.
Thank you. Thank
All
you. I
right.
appreciate it. Thank you, Jesse. All right. All right, bye. Let me get to what is this? Frederick, I have less than. Be quick, Frederick, because I know I was on the phone with Jesse for a minute, but be quick, Frederick. Get to your point. Welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Happy 4th of July. Happy 4th of July. I'm going to be quick.
Okay.
I didn't want too much.
Happy 4th.
Listening to you talk to Jesse, hey, it was great. It was great.
Right on.
But as long as men know who they are and they have their mindset on a goal that's bigger than a woman, they're going to be okay. They keep chasing these and catering to these women. That's where the downfall is.
For sure.
I wish I had more time to talk to you. I should have called in earlier, but it's all good.
Oh, I appreciate.
You enjoying White History Month? Are you celebrating this nonsense?
I don't celebrate.
Please say no.
I don't celebrate or not celebrate. I just appreciate it for what it is. So if it's White History Month and Jesse's celebrating, and I'm with it. Just like 4th of July. I understand why there's 4th of July. I celebrate it. I understand why there's White History Month. I celebrate it. But I'm not like, in Black History Month, if there's something good that a black person did, I'm celebrating it too. So it's no
Right.
no big deal
It
to me.
just don't feel white to me. I don't know.
It don't feel white? Yeah, I don't know if it feels
white.
I don't know if it feels white, but
All right, Joel, you have a great show. I love it.
All right.
Love what y'all doing. Love what Jesse doing. Love what Hank doing. Anchor Baby, I call in all the time. I'm going to start
Right on.
giving my perspective because I kind of speak for the ones that's down and out suffering. But me living in L.A., retired, and don't want for nothing, I'm kind of good. But I'm going to start, they need to wake up. More of the same is what they're going to get if they just keep marching and just doing the same thing.
Right.
They need to wake up.
Right,
All
man.
right.
I
Have a
agree.
great
Call me
one.
again, man. We'll have more time to talk and we'll get into it.
All right, we'll do.
All right,
Thank
man.
you.
Sounds good. Have a good one. Amazing. I got to end. I don't be liking the end because it be going by so fast. But I hope that all made sense. And thank you to the callers. I appreciate you guys calling in. It's been amazing. I love the calls too, though, because I love that kind of stuff. It's just fun to go back and forth, but also just to change the pace of the show a little bit. It's always nice. So thanks, Jesse, for calling in. Thanks, Frederick, for calling in. And thank you, chat, for tuning in. Y'all are amazing, for real. Thank you for the super chats. Amazing. And follow me across the board on all platforms, Joel Friday TV and The Gift of Dance. Amazing stuff coming. We're starting to push more things out, more content out. So make sure you are paying attention and all that good stuff. Happy 4th of July. Have an amazing day today. Enjoy it with your family and friends. Keep it light. I know I didn't really do that too much, but keep it light and fun and enjoy the day. I appreciate y'all. Bye.
Yeah. You ain't gotta worry about a thing, baby, count on me. I'm on point like you're physical, so count on me. I got it all under control, baby, count on me. Don't you worry about a thing, lady, count on me. You ain't gotta worry about a thing, baby, count on me. I'm on point like you're physical, so count on me. I got it all under control, baby, count on me. Don't you worry about a thing, lady, count on me. Baby, I don't do the